Welcome to Country Kickback, where you'll hear the latest music from performers you already know and discover new music and artists from around the world. If you have an artist you'd like us to chat with, reach out to the team at countrykickback.com, or you can watch our live videos and more by following us on social media and YouTube. Here is your host, Danny Shaw, with the latest from Country Kickback.
Hello, welcome back. It's been 15 minutes. I gave you a break for a few minutes. I know I do a lot of shows and we bring a lot of music to you. So I thank you all for staying with us because we've got some lovely artists coming through with some great music, and it's great to be able to get it out there to some of you guys. I know a lot of you are watching from the UK and the US, and I'm really grateful for you guys, putting up with us in the middle of the night and still jumping on and saying hi. So thank you. We really do appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for sharing earlier. I know that you guys are always jumping on here and sharing, but it does help. So thank you for sharing the page and sharing the live streams. It helps the artists get their music out there. The more you share, the more people see. So the more music they can make for us. I know I always talk about it, but we've got in the comments, we've got our YouTube pages for Country Kickback, and we've got Tony's YouTube pages for his latest single as well up there. So when we finish the show, you can click on those links. It should take you straight there. So if you want to subscribe, that'd be great for everybody, because that will also then give you an alert if we release music or release shows and things, because certain platforms sometimes release different things. And I know I've told you before, but we do now have Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, everything, Instagram, but we also have Snapchat. So we are starting a behind the scenes thing, because I know a lot of you are always asking me about that and wanting to see what we do with Country Kickback and with different tours and things that we go on. So if you do want to be part of that, we're doing a buy me a coffee thing. If you want to join us, you can jump on there and I'll send you the Snapchat, or however you want to do it, whatever's best for you. I can send you there's a QR code that I can send you as well. So send me a message if you'd like to do that. And if you'd like a merch order, I have got another one to put in 2 weeks' time, because I've had extras come through. So send me a message if you want me to order any of the hats or anything while I'm doing that. You're welcome to, and I'll pop that in the next order. We've got Tony Cook very patiently waiting for us. We might bring him into the room. Hello.
Hello, Danny. How are you going?
I'm good. How are you? Well, you're not 100%.
Yeah, we had a bout of the dreaded virus here this week, and the wife came down with it first, and then slowly but surely we've all come down with it.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it hasn't hit us too hard, thankfully. So
Good.
Managing to get by. It's just every now and again I'll throw a cough up if I'm cold or I get shivers. So
Yes. Yeah.
Part of it.
That'd be the worst part, coughing and temperature in the middle of the night when you're trying to get some rest.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, last night I had one of the worst night's sleep ever, I reckon. It was just
right.
Oh,
you're coughing. Well, we'll try and wear you out tonight so that you go straight to sleep when you're finished. We'll try and wear you out. You've been releasing music and you've got a lot of great things going on, but I just wanted to touch base with you because, again, we haven't had you on the show. It's great always to get new artists that we haven't had before. Can you talk us through a little bit about what got you into music and why you sort of have headed down the country path? Because you've got quite a traditional sound, and it's a little bit different to a lot of artists at the moment, which is really nice to see. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, no, I grew up in outback Queensland, and halfway between Mount Isa and Townsville. A population of about 23 people, I think, back then. And my dad and mum had a pub, and we grew up in the pub, and Dad won a guitar in a poker game. And spent the next 15 years trying to learn how to play it. But, it was, I guess, the jukebox going in the pub and the love of country music, I guess, stems from there. So, and it's been just a passion of mine for probably since I was a 7 or 8 year old.
Wow, yes, it's really embedded. How old were you when you started writing? Is that something that started a bit later in your life?
Yeah, I think it was probably high school, I think, year 10, 11, 12, something like that. And then as music came in and out of my life, there was, it was a good way for me to. I remember being in Adelaide, I was in the Air Force and wrote a song because I just missed the bush and the outback so much, and that actually was the beginnings of the song That's Country, which you mentioned earlier before we were on.
Yes, yeah.
So
I
yeah,
heard
it's just been a way of me just probably putting down my thoughts on paper and experiences, and
yeah,
it's been good
yeah.
for me.
Do you think that as you've released and as you've got, do you think it's changed your writing style as you've got different experiences throughout life, or have you sort of
Yeah,
stuck
no
to some?
doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that influences and your environment make a big impact on
Yes.
how you see the world. When I lived up in Charters Towers, you're quite remote, and
Mm.
you get forgotten about by big cities and
Yes.
powers that be and premiers and
Yes.
So I was very passionate about trying to promote the outback and the bush, and I still am. And we've just done a TV campaign promoting Charters Towers, which has
Oh,
just been
really?
submitted to the Queensland Tourism Awards. So hopefully they get a gong there.
Yes.
But
Can people
it's
vote for that?
yeah, I think it's close. The 31st of. Oh, you might be able to if you jump on my Facebook page. You'll see the link.
Excellent. I'm going
Yeah,
to do that.
I'm pretty
We'll
sure.
put that link, if it's still open for voting, we'll put that link in the comments at the end of the show, so you can actually jump on and vote for it before you log off tonight. That's a good idea. I love that. I've had a few conversations with a few different artists around the country, and I think one thing that I try like with Country Kickback is that we can really take music and things from so many different areas around the country and bring it to people's living room, and they get to know it. And that's essentially what you're doing there with Charters Towers. It's great to show people what they can see if they want to go around the country and get off the main roads, get into the little towns.
Yeah, no, that's right. And that's the power of music, and I think I've always been, hell bent on trying to maximise, when we produce music videos and stuff like that, maximise exposure for these little remote towns, and they very rarely get any sort of limelight, but it's comforting to see that. People jump on board and think, where's that? And
Yeah.
I've heard of stories of people overseas, in Europe, and showing them the film clip for That's Country that you mentioned, and
Yes. Yeah.
people being so proud and patriotic about being Aussies, and
Yeah.
so it's really good and humbling actually to get
It
that
is
feedback.
actually a very proud Aussie song, and but it also resonates with what we've grown up with, especially in this music industry and Australian quite a traditional Australian country sound and things as well, which is what it does, and it just reminds me of where you've come from, I think. But it's lovely to be able to see artists are starting to go. They used to go to the cities that, even I'm in Tassie, and they'd go to Hobart, Launceston, maybe Devonport or Burnie, and now we don't stop in the cities. You go to places like, people come down here and they play at Mathina, which is where my family's from, and I think that it's a town of not much more than what you were talking about. It's a very small, tiny little town in the middle of nowhere, and artists are starting to go out and perform there and bringing people to those towns, which is giving people a reason to get in the car and go there. And that's awesome, because we can actually bring a bit of life back to those places and show them that they're important.
Yeah, you did right, Danny. It's all of these little small regional towns and communities, I think value live music, and they love it when I've played out bush anywhere, the whole community gets behind you, and they just have a fantastic time. So it's a really good feeling. So
it's family. You feel welcomed. You feel part of the family. Jill has popped in and she said she just loves Tony Cook and visits the little places. Now, Jill's from near where you are, isn't she? She's around.
She's.
I think she's around up that way. I
Rocky
haven't been lucky enough to meet Jill, so I hope one day I can. I've learned a lot about her, but I haven't met her, which is nice to see. But now you've just released Little Things. I love this song, and I know that, reading your press release, you wrote this during COVID, which is obviously a time where you were locked up and made to really reflect on things by the sound of the song. Is that something you'd had in your mind for a little while, or did it just come to you when you were at home, stuck in isolation?
I think I've always been sort of a bit melancholy when it comes to putting out what you get back, and you know, the universe looking after you, and you treat people the way you want to be treated yourself. And with COVID, and you know, all the shopping centres and the shelves being bare, and every man for themselves, it's just
it really wasn't it?
Yeah, it was terrible, and it really hurt. You know, and I feel that through song, it's just nice to remember the little things in life that make the world a better place. So
Yeah.
I feel that that line came to me, and then the song basically evolved from that. And I played it to the boys in the band, and they just immediately loved it. And
Yeah.
when we sat down to Shane Nicholson, yeah, he picked that one out of about half a dozen songs to say that he liked that. So yeah, it was it's been a nice little tune for us. So yeah, it's been good.
Has it been? How's the reaction been from releasing that? Because it makes you really think and feel. So I imagine that people have reached out to you and made comments and things. Have you had a lot of feedback?
Yes and no. I feel a lot of people just say they love it, and you know, I think it resonates with a few people too, and it's one of those things that I didn't actually put the video clip up on the Facebook page. I've only just put it up on YouTube.
Yes.
So you know, I think it's just one of those songs that I feel that it resonates with a wider demographic than just your main country audiences. I think
It does.
Yeah, it got a good message too, and a lot of my music's about, you know, a message in a song, and you know, yeah. So.
I like that, because a lot of the messages are things that we really should just naturally think every day, but sometimes it's good to have a reminder to slow down and remember those important things, because we just forget, we get busy, and I think COVID has actually given us that chance to remember, and we lost what it meant so much to us that we didn't realize how much it meant until we lost it, and now it's back. I think we're all starting to look at the world a little bit differently and appreciate what we have here in Australia. So
yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, we're very lucky in this country, and I've travelled all over the place, and you know, I feel that we've got one of the most safest and understanding communities, and people just get on about their business, and so we're very lucky here.
We're very lucky. We're very lucky. I know. I think that was probably one of the hardest things with COVID, when it felt like we were each to their own when you're at the supermarket, as you said. But if you didn't live in town or live in a city, you couldn't get things. People didn't help you. But then on top of that, we kind of closed off as if we're different countries, each state, and it was really hard to see. And having that song come out, that sort of just reminds us that we are still a country and we can still do things. Yes.
That's right.
Tell us about music and touring. Have you got plans to head out on the road at the moment?
Life's been pretty wet, and you know, we've had to make plans, alternative plans. We've got a few local shows around the Central Queensland area coming up. We have been asked into some festivals, but we haven't really been pushing ourselves and really made any sort of concrete plans as yet. But we're always, you know, if people want you, they know where to find you on the website. But I tend to feel that these days I'm more about trying to produce and write, and then when something really special comes along, then you know we'll jump on board. You know, I'm passionate about raising funds for you know, disadvantaged, and also the fireys and any other causes. We've done quite a few charity events up here with the drought in Rocky and the local fireys. So it's not all about you know, making a living. I think I'm pretty lucky that my wife she holds the bacon at the moment, and I'm homeschooling one of my daughters. So you know,
that's not easy either.
But we're getting by, and you know, I still have the ability to get away and do what I love. So there's always, you know, it's an open-ended calendar at this stage. But
lovely.
A few things coming in the pipeline, so stay tuned.
Excellent. To keep watching on all the socials and things and all the right places. You were saying about, you know, you do things for different charities and the fireys and things. Do you volunteer yourself? Is that how you became involved with them?
Yeah, I've done a lot for the local school in Kawarra, where we're living at the moment, and we've gotten on board like the massive droughts they had up in northwestern Queensland. a couple of years ago, there was thousands upon thousands of cattle that had died, swept away in floods, and a few of the mayors. I rang a few of the mayors up there and said, "Can we put on a show for you?" And it spiraled out of control because next thing, Metal as Anything was mentioned, and this was just before Greedy and Johnny Wharton, the mayor up at Richmond, and invited us to come up and help, and so that was great, quite good. And there's been Beef Week here in Rocky we've just had, and
yes,
last year, so we played there.
Wonderful.
We're always getting around and doing bits and pieces.
Good. Lots of fun. Lots of fun. Did you get down to Tamworth recently?
No, I didn't make it down this year with COVID and the like. Yeah, it's I think that I probably am more than likely becoming a bit more of a homebody these days. But there's a party to be had, and they need some good country music. I'll be there, sort of thing. So,
yes, definitely. We're definitely getting more and more of the need for that now. It's great to see. So you said that you're focusing on writing and producing. So have you got a few songs that you're working on and a few more releases thinking of this year? Or have you got more songs?
Yeah, well, I'd like to get at least one or two more out this year. We've, as I said before, we've been working with Shane Nicholson this current release and a few others, and but his what would you say, schedule, I guess, is pretty full on. He's got his own music out, so he's pretty hard man to get hold of. But he's keen to get on board and continue, working with us. And with the current state of play, I feel that we should be right to get something out before the end of the year, and at least maybe even a little early. We'll see how we go. But I'm in no rush. It's like everything. I'm about quality, not quantity, and I feel you got to take your time. It's like a good wine, eh?
Exactly right. It's interesting because I always ask the question, when people choose songs to release or write, and obviously you don't just have one song, you have 10 songs that you've written and you've got to choose. And you were just saying then that you played a few for Shane and he picked out little things out of that group. Did you go in with an idea of which one you wanted, or you just went in with a few songs and do you normally let him?
I generally just throw them all at him. and he'll sort of he's got a good gift, for identifying something that's got some potential, and I think it's just up to us as the songwriters. I think that like Shane doesn't interfere with the songwriting side of things either, so he just leaves me to my own devices, which is good. I just write it, and then after that he'll put the music to it, and I'll do the vocals, and there we go. So, but sorry, you want to say something?
No, it's got to say you've got a really great little process. It's working well.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think you just got to take your time. I don't believe in rushing a song for the sake of it. And I know a lot of artists out there that are either signed or make a living out of it every day of the week. You're only relevant as your last album, sort of thing. And I feel that mentality for good songs is missed at times. Yeah.
I remember having that conversation with Adam Brand and a few other different artists. People rush the song just to get it finished, and it's the really, really good songwriters that don't do that. That you get a great song or a good song, and that's the difference. Is they don't rush it; they sit on it until they get it, how they want it. And I think it makes it a different listening. Definitely, you can tell when people have got to get something out there because labels or they're being pushed by their companies, and it does you do hear the different quality of someone that's taken the time to do it right.
Yeah, Adam's actually coming up this way next year, I think, for Country Kickback. You'll have to come up, Danni.
Yes, yeah. I've been wanting to do that one. That is on my list.
Yeah, Beck Lacey. She's
Beck, yes.
And, so that's a great little getaway. If your viewers or anyone.
Is that near you? How close to Keppel are you?
Literally, we can see it from our house. We're on a mountain range and 200 metres above the sea level, so we get to look over Great Keppel Island. And it's a pretty special spot we've got here. We've just finished building a house, and so But Keppel's a wonderful getaway. I can't speak more highly of it, and particularly with the Country Music Festival. You get to mix and mingle with all of the artists. And, it's a fantastic little
A
environment.
a country festival on a tropical island just sounds so painful.
Yep, the cocktails on the beach,
Yeah,
and yeah,
the cocktails on the beach. You got your feet in the sand and the music behind you. You couldn't get much better, could you?
well, Zach Brown's song, Toes in the
Yeah,
Sand.
toes in the sand.
We played that actually a couple of years ago for him, and it was a good,
Oh,
good little
so you're
buzz.
gonna be careful for the next one?
Yeah, well, fingers crossed. Hopefully, yeah, they're still identifying and sort of
It's
signing
been a
artists.
bit of yes.
Yeah, it's not for a while, another 12 months. They
Yeah,
cancelled this year because there was some tragic circumstances
yeah.
over there. But you know, they are committed to putting on the event every year, so they're going to
And
become back bigger and better next year.
I've seen from the back end watching back, they work so hard. Oh, they do on every festival. There's no festival that people don't work so hard on. But Country on Keppel, they've worked so hard to get it
Yeah,
going, and they've put so much extra love and time into it to keep it running now. That this year was just such a hard time for them. But instead of
yeah,
taking the time to do that, they put more time into getting it moved and making sure that it was still going to go ahead next year. So if you can get there, it'll sell out quickly.
yeah.
It is a limited space, a limited room, and it is becoming very popular. So I
There's only
definitely
so
have
much
to get there.
accommodation, yeah. So if
Yeah.
anyone's interested, they can always touch base with Hideaway Resort
Yes.
at Great Capital Island, and Beck Gracie. She's the main mover and shaker in that crowd. So
Yes, the country journo. Yes,
yep,
she is.
yep.
Yeah. So definitely reach out to people because I've watched the footage and I've seen people and I've been messaging people when they're at the event saying, send me photos. I want to see it. And it looks amazing.
Yeah, it's
So
pretty surreal. It's a nice event. Yeah, it's one of
yeah.
the ones if I'm playing there, I really look forward to it. So yeah.
Yeah, good. That's what I like to hear. It's great to hear. And
You going to come up, are you, Danny, or what? You got to
I'm hoping that's what I'd love to do. I know that it sells out accommodation on the island really quickly. So I
Yeah,
have to work out how you get across and come back to accommodation thing, because I don't know if you being in Tassie, I'm not going to have a car, so I'll have to fly up and work the accommodation thing
yeah,
around.
that's right. Well, I've been
It's,
to Tassie actually. We went down there for the Country Awards back in 2018 or 17. I can't remember.
yes. I didn't get to go to those. I think I was working in Brisbane at a
Yeah.
different
Oh, right.
gig in Brisbane when that was on. It is so good. That
Yeah.
would have been was that the one in Hobart or down south?
Launceston.
Oh, the Launceston one. You did, yeah. So that was at the Princess Theatre, I think.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lovely. I love Tasmania. It reminded me a lot of England.
Yes,
It's
it is
really
beautiful. Have you got to come down and play other than that? The
no,
awards?
no.
Oh,
We
you
haven't
have
been
to
back.
come.
Unfortunately, the wife wants to get back down there like
Definitely.
yesterday. But,
Yeah.
life happens unfortunately, unless you sort of get a push in the right direction. You sort of don't make plans for this, but it'd be
Exactly.
lovely to get back down there. Yeah.
Oh, we have definitely got some spots that you can play. So just sing out and I will help you do that. We've always had in Launceston, especially in Tasmania, we've always had a great music following and especially country. But since COVID, because we were still able to have a few little things and it was majority of it was country coming, we've just seemed to have grown with our audience and people want more stuff. I'm getting messages all the time going, have you got someone that can play at this festival? What can we do? I've got this on, who can you recommend? And people want it now. And it's really good when you go to town or even go to the supermarkets now or the IGA and you hear Australian country music playing and you think, oh, that song was just released and you didn't do that before COVID. It wasn't a thing down here. So now you start to hear artists are becoming COVID did us good. It helped us get the music back in the States. So
I think a lot of musicians did it tough though during COVID, and it knocked everyone around, I think, and even a mate of mine up here, Brad Butcher, poor bugger, to go out and mow the lawns for a while, So it's funny how the world works, isn't it? They throw these things at you, dust yourself off, and get back on the horse.
And and I think definitely the music industry or the entertainment industry is probably one of the hardest industries hit, and it's normally entertainment industry that's jumping on board to help others. So it's great to see that people are trying to get behind us again and people are buying merch and tuning into the lives. And sharing them. And as soon as they're able to put on things, they're messaging, going, who can we get? What can we do? And trying to make it happen. And it's nice to see that people are supporting artists again, because so many of my friends of, you know, that they're full-time artists and now have to take on full-time work, and music has become a back thing. And now that we're getting back out there, they're still a bit too scared to go fully back into it, which is such a shame, because the industry's needed. And,
there's a high demand there for quality, you know, live music, I think. And you're dead right. There's a lot of people gun shy wanting to get back into the full-time game. And, you know, I guess I'd be probably part of that group. But, you know, I think as life evolves and your priorities change, I think it's still nice to keep your hand in. And, you know, you're never out of it. But I can understand that people would certainly be there's my little daughter going.
No, I think you're right. I think it's time we got out there and enjoyed it again. But I think we have a community that do want to bring it back and support musicians, which is nice to see. And you guys in Queensland are getting some amazing festivals. There's the Gold Coast with Groundwater, and you guys get so much all the way up and up even in Cairns. They've got the yearly one now. You guys have got Keppel. It's
Mackay Rock and North Country. It's it's amazing, that one in Mackay. That's going to be a bigger one.
I really do need to come up for some of these because it's just too good.
We need more good people up here, Danni.
So. There are. I love Queensland. I think that's where a lot of most of my friends are in Queensland now. They've all moved, so I just have to get up there more. I'll be up in December. I'll be in Brisbane in December, but I'm hoping I would love to do Keppel. That's definitely on my main list. Especially you've got a great.
It's well really followed, and I think there's a lot of artists jumping over themselves to get on the list. You know, so. But you'll have to ring the country journal, get onto a class.
I will. I'll be on to back.
You might be able to do a country kickback.
Yes, we could do some live chats from the beach with our cocktail. I'll get a country kickback umbrella, and we'll just have it on the beach with the music going and some cocktails, and we can do some live interviews.
There you go. That's thinking.
That sounds perfect. Might have to get songwriter trysts as well, and we can do a joint one, and we can just sit there with our umbrellas, and people can just come to us.
That'd be fun. Well, I think, you know, it's going to grow, and every year it gets more and more following.
It's actually going to get harder and harder to get tickets, so it's a great time to jump on now and get them while you can, because the lineup's growing. You go from their first one to this, they've kept rolling so well. They've had some great people behind it, which has certainly given it people with a lot of experience, but just the venue and the idea of it is pretty magical. It's a bit like going on a cruise, a country music cruise, because you can't always do that at the moment, but you're going to a tropical island, and it's the same sort of thing. It's just lovely. So I'll be there. I'll definitely. If anyone
I'll come over and say good day.
Yes, sounds perfect. I'm happy to just take my swag. I'll sleep on the beach. It's fine. Be perfect. Yes. Thank you so much for joining me. I know you're not feeling 100%, and I hope you all feel better very soon. But we would love to have you back for your next single when you get one ready to release.
No worries. Definitely do that.
In the meantime, you're on Facebook, Tony Cook on Facebook. Are you Tony Cook Music on Instagram, or just?
I think I'm Tony Cook Laidback Tones, and Facebook as well. But there's a link on the website tonycook.com.au, and that just gets you straight to the Facebook page. And if you search up, I think it's Tony Cook Laidback Tones on Instagram. We've been locked out of our account for some reason, so I haven't been able to see what's going on. But it's
a lot to people. A lot of them have been locked out.
I don't know what's going on with it, but anyway, that's half the dramas, isn't it, with technology?
It is. It really is. And people, you just don't know. It's just so hard to trust. But before we go, we'll pop that link for the competition to vote for you. That'd be great. So make sure before you guys log out, we'll put that up as soon as I end the live. I'll log in and pop it into the comments. So jump on there and give it a follow. But I have actually got on the top of your comments, I've got your YouTube page with your video and things on it. So make sure you head up the top and have a look at the film clip and your other film clips if they haven't seen them. So have a watch. They're great to watch, and you'll really enjoy it. So let us know what you think when you've watched it.
Appreciate it. Thanks,
thank
Danni.
you so much. I hope you're all feeling well, and we'll see you very soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Fingers crossed, eh? Let's aim for that. What do you reckon?
Exactly right. We can do it. We're back to normal now. And guys, we'll be back on Thursday. I think we've got Limbo Tower off the top of my head, so that's a pretty good one. We have had Lynn a couple of times this year, so we're going to have a chat to her about her new album. And we'll be 7 o'clock Thursday night. We'll see you all then. Thank you. We'll see you later.
Ta-da.
Thank you for listening. We hope you've enjoyed today's program. See you next time with the latest with Country